Good evening and thank you very much for joining us. The city of Lloydminster is taking action after learning a local nightclub started promoting strippers will soon be taking the stage. Now the city has issued a stop order against the cooler. Council repealed the bylaw banning nude entertainment 2 months ago and is in the process of setting up a zoning bylaw to determine where adult entertainment can take place. The decision to go forward with the stop order was made because the cooler is situated in the C2 zone, an area where nude entertainment isn't permitted.
We're not instructing the business to stop working. We're just asking them to stop a certain activity that's not allowable under the zoning bylaw that exists today.
Carol confirms there have been strippers at the venue.
To our knowledge, there were, yes. I don't know the exact times or anything like that.
Yesterday, we told you the Lloydminster Ministerial Association is also circulating a petition against the return of adult entertainment. And now there's a second petition, this one in support of bringing strippers back to the border city. Now, the owner of the cooler, Mark Linskog, provided Newcap News with the following statement, quote, "I am a business owner in town that has contributed for the last 6 years back to the community in donations and charity. I provide a place for entertainment, whether it's a concert, oil wrestling, or exotic dancers. It's a choice for people to come or not to come. Everyone has the right to make their own choice on whether they go. I'm not asking any of them to come in. I'm giving them the choice." We will continue to follow this story as it develops. Well, a Regina man will be the first Saskatchewan resident to fly to Albany, New York on Monday morning for the final stage of screening for the clinical trial of the effectiveness of CKSA treatment. As Mike Baden explains, it's a huge breakthrough for future research.
The provincial government committed $2.2 million to have Saskatchewan patients participate.
This clinical trial will provide the research-based evidence that will really be important in building a foundation that we can then use to make decisions about the effectiveness and safety of the CKSA treatment as a viable treatment for people with MS.
As of now, no local MS sufferers will be taking part in the trial, but the exposure will help move research forward both in the province and across the country.
But I think that it's really special that people in Saskatchewan can have an opportunity to play an active role in this research. I think for those who are affected by a disease that really many times makes you feel like you have no control, it can be really empowering to know that you're involved in a process that might really be making a difference for people living with MS in the future.
Approximately 3,500 people in Saskatchewan have MS, making it not only one of the highest rates in Canada, but around the world.
We went through a search to see which clinical trials would be best suited for Saskatchewan to take part in, and clearly the Albany one was the one that we needed to be a part of.
Half of the research participants will have the procedure done, while the other half will not, to ensure the integrity of the results, which is a key piece in seeing if the CKSA treatment will be brought north of the border.
A trial like this, which is going to gather that scientific evidence rather than some of the anecdotal evidence that we've heard from people who've gone abroad to have the treatment done personally, is essential. That's going to form the basis for ultimately deciding whether this can be done here in Canada.
Mike Baden, Newcap News.
They're some of the worst road conditions rural municipalities have seen in decades. Area roads have been ripped apart by heavy truck traffic and an unusual amount of spring and summer rain. We first brought you this story back in June, and despite efforts to patch things up, 3 months later, some roads are even worse for wear.
This is the sound of money. The road to prosperity here is rooted through heavy oil.
Long-term gain for short-term pain, right?
But that short-term pain peaked this year. A brutal spring thaw, overwhelming amount of rain, and tons of heavy truck traffic. The perfect recipe for the worst roads local municipalities have seen in 2 decades.
You can't prepare for a spring like what we had this year because, like I said, in my 18 years, we haven't had one like this.
2/3 of the road repair work still needs to be completed, and roads like this one have actually gone from bad to worse. So much so that people trying to drive through the area are actually leaving parts of their vehicle behind. Local RMs are now footing a $20 million bill for road repair. And despite having some of the highest heavy oil traffic in Saskatchewan, the root cause of much of the damage, the province won't be chipping in to help.
In terms of additional one-off funding, certainly I don't anticipate anything like that coming forward at this time.
The RM of Wilton closed its roads to heavier trucks back in June. Since then, it's faced constant pressure from oil companies to reopen, despite repairs being far from finished. Both Husky and CNRL declined our interview requests, but Husky issued the following statement about the conditions. We do understand the reasons behind the RM's restrictions, and Husky complies with all rules and regulations. All local RMs are trying to get Infrastructure Minister Don McMorris's attention. He was also unavailable for an interview with Newcap News.
There has been invitations extended to the minister to visit the region. That being said, both the minister and ministry officials are well aware of the conditions in these RMs. And so the fact that the minister has not been to this area does not mean he's not aware of the situation.
So that leaves RM officials still searching for answers on how to get that road to prosperity back up to its full potential.
A drought in several key farming states in the U.S. is affecting crop prices throughout the world. As Bart Patiasek explains, Lloydminster is no exception, affecting local producers and grocery prices.
Greg Holtby runs Harvest to Home, a grocer that specializes in local and Canadian-made products. Holtby says the drought is a bigger issue than it first seems and is expected to affect food prices.
I would expect in the next 6 months that we'll see beef prices go up. Our chicken's a big consumer of grains, bigger than beef, and the price of grains go up, the price of chicken has to come up sometime or they produce less.
According to the Lloydminster Economic Development Corporation, it comes down to basic economics.
Well, some basic kind of supply and demand. There's obviously going to be less supply and certainly less quality supply, which means the demand for high quality food products will go up, and when demand goes up, price follows with it.
According to Reed, food prices may be raised by a total of 6% during the drought.
That's about $500 or $600 over the course of the year. So, a little bit over the course of a year, not great over a single trip to a grocery store, but it'll be noticed.
Holtby predicts that we will see higher prices at grocery stores within the next couple months. In the meantime, the Harvest to Home market will do its best to keep customers happy.
We grin and bear it. We try to stay competitive. We try to offer value to our customers every day, every time they come in the store. And we do that hopefully with offering high quality products as well as healthy products.
Bart Patiasek, Newcap News.